Welcome to Impact Farming, where we introduce you to the people and ideas that will have a massive impact on your farming operation. Brought to you by Farm Marketer. Sit down, start the engine, and let's roll with today's show.
Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. I am live on location here at the Farm Progress Show in Regina, and I have a phenomenal guest with me. Her name is Andrea Eriksson, and she is the Business Development Officer for Norquest College. Welcome.
Yes, so that's in Edmonton, Alberta, and we're a community college and we have 2 farming classes.
That's excellent. And Andrea was here actually giving a great presentation about opportunities in hemp, and that is what I wanted to talk to you about today. As we all know, there's been changes in legislation and there's greater opportunities in hemp, so I'm excited to have you to talk to you a little bit about the history of hemp, where we're at now, and how one goes about farming. So why don't we start with the 101? And there might be a few people out there that ask the question, hemp, marijuana, cannabis, what is the difference?
Yeah, so there's so much confusion around hemp, and part of that's just the culture that we live in. Hemp has been a synonym with the marijuana industry for so long.
Yes.
But really there's a very key difference. Hemp is under 0.3 THC, hemp is under 0.3% THC levels.
Okay.
So you can't get high from it, and it's really, there's a lot more cannabidiols in hemp, so the non-psychoactive components of the plant. So you find that both marijuana and hemp have THC, and they both have cannabidiols, but in hemp it's just a lower percentage of the THC, and that's the only difference.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for clarifying that. You know, some industries, if you don't understand it well, there's a lot of coin words and you don't quite know how they connect, right? So that's fantastic. In your presentation, you gave a really neat history about hemp, and can you take our audience there and share some of that?
Yeah, so hemp has been around since 2700 BC.
Wow.
And so
who would have known?
Who would have known? Ancient China was growing it, and then what's now modern day Syria, Turkey, that area in the Middle East, they did hemp as well for food, fiber, and health products. So it was almost like that, a little bit of that history was lost into now, and it's predominantly food-based in Canada, and now we're finally seeing a resurgence of the fiber applications and the health applications.
Okay, excellent. And there's been different changes in the industry lately. Do you want to touch on that, where that might intersect with opportunities?
Yeah, so there's been a lot of changes in the industry in that hemp has been legalized in Canada since 1998.
Okay.
But what we're seeing now is hemp is under the Cannabis Act that was October 17th, 2018. And so because of that, hemp is a subchapter of that act. And so it's regulated under Health Canada, and it has, like, when you're applying for this cultivation license as a farmer or a processor, you're actually on the same website as you would be if you were producing marijuana.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, that's good to know. So our audience is Canadian farmers, actually farmers from around the world that tune into our show on a weekly basis. So a farmer may read about, hear about, they're watching this, and they're wondering about growing hemp. What are the opportunities in this industry?
So hemp, you can make so many different entrepreneurial products, over 10,000 different products.
Wow.
And I really like to break the hemp plant down into different components. So you have the chaff of the hemp plant, that's the flowering head, that's where you get the cannabidiols.
Okay.
You have the seeds that are produced on the flowers, where you get the grain from. And then you also have the stalks of the plant, where you have the herd, that's the hard core. And then then you have the bast, which is what's peeled apart for the textiles. It's peeled off, and it's a textile application.
Okay.
So those are the main components, and each of those components have different entrepreneurial products associated with them.
Okay, so I'm a farmer, I'm watching this, I'm curious. I mean, we'll give resources on where they can learn a little bit more after, but where do I even start? How do I know what I'm planting, where to go, what to buy, and what I'm going to be doing with those products? How does that work?
So it's really good to have a broad education base like before you get going. So the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance has a really good e-guide. We have the 2 courses that we've produced filming farmers, but you kind of need to know a little bit about the lingo, a little bit about the language, and then your next step would be to actually contact someone to get those contracts. So let's say you were going for fiber. A lot of times I see that farmers that want to get into fiber, they need to approach a facility that processes fiber called a decortication facility.
Okay.
So they'd approach those ones. Let's say you're going for seed. Well, you'd contact a seed processor. Let's say you're going for CBD. There's a lot of extraction companies, and you can find those companies and who they are by staying connected with the Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance. They have a member directory that you can search.
Okay.
And then also, usually each province has a provincial rep that's responsible for the hemp crop. They're usually pretty tuned into who's who in the sector, and they'll give you contacts as well.
Okay, and I want to actually jump right into your course. I think it's phenomenal that you guys have created a course. I've done an interview on this once before and dove in, took our audience here, but when we're looking at a crop that a farmer might not have already grown on their farming operation, you don't want to just jump in. Like anything, you want to do research. Can you actually, do you want to tell us a little bit about the courses that you guys are offering?
So with the hemp farming course, that was really designed to help farmers understand that for each entrepreneurial end product, there's a different harvest method, there's a different seeding rate, and there's different considerations in the crop management, and you either want to be organic or conventional. So that's what the farmer course, the goal is to give farmers the tools to be able to have that base of knowledge.
Okay.
For processing and products, the end audience is entrepreneurs. We do have a farmer module still in that course though, because entrepreneurs, if they're not able to speak, farm speak, they're not able to communicate with farmers or understand some of the considerations around seeding density or harvest methods.
Good point.
That would be such an important point of having a business in hemp.
Okay, that's fantastic. I'm curious. I'm going to pop on there.
That sounds good.
What we'll do is in the show notes on the website, we'll put links to the course for you guys. And then if anybody's interested, you can pop on over to the website, I guess norquest.ca.
Yeah, /hemp.
And you guys can find out more about the courses. If you're interested, that's where you can go. So you were the individual that actually put these courses together, weren't you?
Yeah.
So you went out to different operations. Maybe tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so there's no curriculum that exists anywhere in North America on hemp. So of course I chose this as my first project to do for
a massive
school. Let's just do this really intense project. But part of it was just putting the dots together. So there's only, in each province, there's maybe 1 or 2 hemp experts.
Okay.
Or 1 or 2 hemp researchers. It's a very small community. So you really needed to approach them and find out their information. And a lot of times this knowledge is verbally passed down, or farmers are showing their neighbors what the combine modifications are. But there's not one central spot, especially visually on a video base, where people can go and actually look to see what it actually looks like.
Do you talk about that? All that in your course?
Yeah, well, that's why we did so much filming. We took about 30 hours of just film footage, just building the hemp farming course alone, and have little snippets that we showcase, because you can find guides, you can find written guides, but it's a visual thing, like
as we know, video, right? That's fantastic. Yeah. Wow, that must have been a big project. But kudos to you.
It was a big project, and the work's never done because the regulations keep changing. Like you were mentioning a little bit too, like what's happening in the future, and the biggest thing is Health Canada has announced that all the edibles and the cannabidiol regulations and licensing is coming out late fall, or like before the end of the year, but that's going to be a big thing to keep posted on because they'll be able to regulate for a lot of these different applications what will be allowed.
Okay, excellent. So this has been phenomenal, and I love that you guys have created the courses. As we all know, video just provides a different level of connection, a different level of understanding. I'm a visual person. If you are a visual person, you like video, right? So I think that is great. To wrap up the interview, why don't I get you to remind our audience, you gave an association website before, if they want to learn more, as number one resource. Can you repeat that?
The Canadian Hemp Trade Alliance, they're an amazing resource, and actually many of the individuals in that organization were subject matter expert contributors for the class, and they have an amazing conference coming up in November too, at the end of November, so I would encourage you to check out their website, join as a member. You'll be able to access the suppliers, the distributors, and that through the connecting with that group.
Okay, that's fantastic. And then again, the college website, can you share that with our audience?
Norquest College. So to learn more about the hemp farming or hemp processing and products class, go to www.norquest.ca/hemp.
Excellent. Well, I think that gives a great overview. And again, if farmers are interested, I'm looking at the costs of the training right here. Very reasonable. And if you guys are interested, pop on over to the website and have a look at the course. I think, whether you're interested to learn more, whether you really, really want to get into the opportunity, this looks great.
We designed the classes to be accessible to people, to create mass awareness, and that was our core goal for it.
Good job.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show to share this. Our goal here on the Impact Farming Show is to bring the people and ideas that will affect our audience of farmers from around the world. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you. And thank you guys for joining us on another episode of the Impact Farming Show. See you next week.
You've been listening to Impact Farming. For more great episodes and articles designed to help you manage and grow your farming operation, head on over to farmmarketer.com. Don't forget to sign up while you're there. We will see you on the next episode.